Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. And you're not going to believe the story coming to us out of Florida. It was a yellow line. That's all they had to do is paint a yellow line in the middle of an interstate highway. Well, the line wasn't quite where it should be, and it ended up causing major problems for cars that were under driver assistance technologies. The cars just started veering all over because the yellow line was not in the middle. It was like curvy on one side and the other. So people in their cars, they actually had to fight to stay in the highway's lanes. Now, you might say, this yellow line, how far did it stretch? Like a mile or two? No, 23 miles. That's right. They had one job to do. Put a yellow line down in the middle of a lane in a highway. And it was in the wrong place for 23 miles. Crazy, isn't it? And apparently there was a truck loaded with Vicks Vapor Rub overturned on the highway too. And amazingly, there was no congestion for 8 hours. Oh, that was a good one. You're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing now is a tech thing. And if you're a new listener to the Kim Commando Show, welcome aboard. So glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app too. Just search for my last name, Commando. And you can also find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free over on my website. That's commando.com. What you want to do is find the link that says Commando Community. And yes, I did say commercial free. Now, if you're listening on the radio, we love that. So just a reminder that you can also get Kim Commando Today as a podcast Monday through Friday. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Commando with a K, of course. And I know that you have a few questions about something digital, and that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. And if you're just too shy to come on a big radio show and podcast, I get that. You can drop me a note over on our website. That's commando.com again. Alrighty, every single day I check out at least 30 different websites to make sure that you're up to date on all things digital. And here are 5 things that you need to know about tech that's happening right now. And we're going to start with America is on the verge of a game-changing discovery. This is really amazing. I want you to pay close attention because geologists have unearthed what might be the world's largest lithium deposit right here in the United States on the Nevada-Oregon border. It's nestled within the expansive McDermott caldera along the border, and it lies what's believed to be the world's most abundant lithium deposit. I know, isn't it just stunning here in the United States? They're talking about 88 billion pounds valued at $1.5 trillion. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is that China, yes, they are now refining 90% of the world's mined lithium that powers everything. Think about it, from your smartphones to our electric cars. So the United States has this golden opportunity to challenge China's stronghold, and then we can establish ourselves as a key player in the lithium industry. I'm telling you, this discovery totally made my day. All right, moving on to number 2, the trial of the century is happening right now. And it's all about how Google has become the world's largest top search site. The U.S. government says it knows and says that Google illegally and unfairly crushed its competitors. And now it's time for justice. I only know of one product that's both a noun and a verb. That's Google. I mean, even with ChatGPT, 90% of all online searches are done through Google. So the U.S. Justice Department says, hey, it was old-fashioned crime that built this high-tech Google empire, and that Google illegally forced smartphone makers to legally forced smartphone makers and web browsers to have Google as their default search site. I mean, think about it. They destroyed Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves. Nobody goes to Yahoo. And Bing, okay. I mean, it wouldn't be anything without ChatGPT right now. It's the biggest antitrust trial in history, and it's happening right now. We're talking about $1.7 trillion in damages, more than Google is worth. So you should be watching this one. All right, moving on to number 3. Your car is tracking your sex life. What? Yes, here we go again with a massive privacy invasion. So if you drive a Mercedes, a Nissan, a BMW, maybe a Ford, Toyota, Tesla, how about a Kia or Subaru? Turns out that your car is collecting some very personal data about you, your weight, and even information about your sex life. That's right, you heard me correctly. The Mozilla Foundation's revealed that today's cars gather far more than just speeds and braking and driving habits. You see, every new car comes with an app, and it keeps track of the car's maintenance. It can shut down a stolen car. But these apps do a lot more. They even know who you are. When you call your spouse, your kids, your doctor, maybe when you're crying over a breakup, when you go to places that you may not want the world to know about. And the car makers are gathering up all this data, and yes, they are selling it. So with a connected car and app, this is what you really signed up for. Now, we have the whole report, so you can check your car make and model over at commando.com. All right, moving on to number 4 on our list of 5 things. For years, there's been talk that long-term use of the internet by older adults contributes to the risk of dementia. Only now do we have some concrete research. Okay, there was no past research to guide them. So doctors at NYU's School of Global Public Health and researchers over at the University of Michigan, they wanted to figure out maybe what they called the long-term cognitive impact of internet usage among older adults. And what they found is this. After 17 years following 20,000 older patients, of those who were active internet users, the study places the risk of developing dementia at 1.5%. But with non-internet users, dementia risk soared to a whopping 10.4%. So the brain seems to be like most other parts of our bodies. As you age, you either use it or you will lose it. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Apple's annual product launch recently took place. And the Apple Watch shared the spotlight with 4 new iPhones. I mean, Apple is totally hoping to make its watch not only a must-have, but also a must-update accessory, much like a phone. So the new watch comes in a lightweight, strong titanium case. It's pretty. It has 72 hours of battery life. That's the longest ever on an Apple Watch. And then what about the new iPhones? 4 new iPhone 15s, that's the model number, including the top-of-the-line iPhone 15 Pro Max. Wow, this thing's big. It has a 6.7-inch display. Yeah, try to get that in your pocket. Also has a titanium case. And they say it has Apple's powerful A17 processor, the fastest processor of any smartphone. So Apple says the iPhone 15 can even challenge some high-end personal computers. Now, let's think about this. Apple sometimes overstates performance, but there's no doubt this phone is super fast. Now, the old Lightning connector is dead. All 4 of the new phones and the Apple Watch charge with the USB-C cable. That's right. Speaking of, when the person who invented the USB drive dies, they were going to lower his coffin right into the grave and then realize they put it in the wrong way. They have to do it again. Okay, we don't have enough time right now, but I'm going to share with you very soon the pro tip, the secret to always getting the USB drive in the right way every single time.
This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults. With 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute and available lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
All right, who shall we start with this show? How about Carol in beautiful Santa Barbara, California?
I've listened to your program for many, many years, and I've always thought how personable and how easy you make everything sound, even though we both know it's not.
Well, I try to be inspirational and encouraging. So.
You are indeed, and if Santa Barbara would just move your program to a better hour than 7 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday morning, that would be great. But meanwhile, I've signed up for everything so I can read all about what you're doing online.
Oh,
so
thank you.
That's good.
Thank you. How can I help you?
Well, it has been a problem for a long time, and I've discussed this with the tech person I use here in Santa Barbara who primarily works with big companies, but a few of us individuals. And so they're not new at this game or fly-by-night by any means, and they've seen just about everything. And so I trust his judgment, but the barrage of emails that I get on a regular basis is overwhelming in that they are primarily almost at a harassment level of scam-type emails, very lewd and crude emails. And his theory is that it's obvious in looking through my emails that I'm involved with Republican, conservative-type organizations.
So you think that because you are a conservative Republican that you are getting a barrage of
Yes.
You know what? That could be the case. And let me explain why. And it doesn't happen just because you're a conservative Republican. It could happen if you're a libertarian or if you're liberal too. Let me give you an example. Let's say, Carol, you have a product to sell. And let's say it's some type of fertilizer that will make a lawn the greenest green, and it will reduce how much water you need to use. And it's just a great product. Okay, let's say you have that product, all right? And now you've determined who this perfect buyer is. So you go online and you say, all right, I need to find people who are going to buy my product. So let's see, I need a 38-year-old man who makes $90,000 a year, who lives on the Mesa in Santa Barbara, and went to Lowe's on a Sunday in Goleta to buy grass seed. Oh, and by the way, on the way to Lowe's in Goleta, he listened to a podcast from NPR about deep fakes, and he watched Fox News Gutfield for the last 3 nights in a row. So everything that I just told you is available online. You could go buy an email address, a way to target this person with all those details. There are a lot of details in there, right?
There are, and it gets to the point of being kind of creepy how much these people will say, in general, these nefarious no-gooders out there seem to know about you. At the risk of sounding naive, I understand that a lot of information is available just by virtue of one having a smartphone or
apps or information that you pass along on social media, people who you're associated to, places where you've been, fundraisers where you've donated money.
Yes.
And so the fact that you're getting this because you're a conservative Republican is not because you're a conservative Republican. In one sense, it is, but because you're being targeted. And the only way to get around this is for you to start being very smart about your email addresses and being very smart about any type of data that you give up. So what you could do is you could create a different email address. So you could be Hot Carol in Santa Barbara, California at gmail.com, which if that's your real address, don't tell anybody. But,
no.
But when you sign up for something political in nature or a charity, fundraiser, whatever it may be, is that you could say, Hot Carol in Santa Barbara, California, a plus sign, and then put something after it like fundraiser at gmail.com. And then Gmail will ignore anything after the plus sign. You'll still receive that email, but the whole idea is that if that email gets compromised and you start getting lewd and bad stuff, is you can just remove that email address, unlike your primary email address. And so,
yes, I've hesitated to do that because we all know that's a hassle too.
Well, it's a hassle.
Start over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're not starting over. What you're doing is that you're going to be smart about your email address and start using disposable email address. And so that this way, in case one gets compromised or you start getting a lot of crappy stuff from one particular arm or company or whatever it may be, is that you can just delete that email address because you don't need it anymore. because you're going to be Hot Carol at Santa Barbara, California at gmail.com. And then anything after the plus sign, Hot Carol at Santa Barbara, California. You know, right now what's happening, Cheryl? Somebody is going to Gmail and they're going to sign up as Hot Carol in Santa Barbara, California. Don't do it. I have Hot Carol on the phone with me. So you're going to be Hot Carol at Santa Barbara, California with that plus sign. And then you're going to be just good to go because then you're going to be able to delete anything after that. So does that make sense?
Well, yes, it does. That's a very good suggestion. And I think that's what we'll be working on tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's the best solution, really, because otherwise you just keep getting all this junk after junk after junk. And thank you for your call today, Carol. A really interesting call. And by the way, we weren't talking politics, folks. Don't even think of sending me a note. Oh, Kim Commando, you didn't like her because she was a conservative, probably. Oh, Kim Commando, you didn't like her because she wasn't. Okay, no, we weren't talking politics. Don't even waste your breath, your energy to send me a note because it had nothing to do with politics. We're talking about how you can be targeted down to the minuscule level, and that's why you're getting some correspondence in your email. Yeah, your data's for sale. You know it. All right, let's talk about that USB drive because it seems like it should be a no-brainer, right? So why do we get it wrong on the first try so often? Because maybe you don't know the secret. I want you to grab any USB cable that's sitting around your house right now. Okay. I can't wait. But when you go get one, I want you to look closely at the end of the USB, and then you're going to see this little tiny symbol. Now, that symbol isn't some tech company's logo. It means something very important that you're going to remember from here on out. The symbol on USB cables tells you which way is up. So the symbol is going to point up if you're plugging in the USB cable horizontally, say on your laptop. Now, if you're plugging it in vertically, it's going to face you, that USB symbol. In case you want to know, this is a little fun fact for you. The USB symbol's arrow represents serial data, not like serial, S-E-R-I-A-L data. And then the circle represents 5 volts, and that's the voltage that USB works at. And the square, well, that represents ground voltage. So, wow. Don't you feel smart knowing all that right now? I know you do. And you're even getting to get more tech smart because we have that great tip about how you can tell who's calling you just by looking at your phone. You don't see that person, you don't know them, but I have an insider secret to tell you about here on the Kim Commando Show.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
So when you woke up this morning, did you reach for your smartphone and then check the number of steps that you clocked in yesterday? But have you ever sat back and wondered, how does it really know this? And is it really accurate? Well, you've probably noticed whether on your health app, fitness app, on your phone, that your phone will keep track of all your steps. Even if it's buried deep inside your suitcase or your purse or whatever, it still manages to count all those steps. So is it magic? Your phone holds a tiny piece of technology that's called an accelerometer. Now, this is a sensor that measures the motion and the orientation of your device. So when you take a step, your phone moves, right? And then the accelerometer can sense that. It calculates the number of steps you've taken by that way. Now, the best place for your phone is in your back pocket, or ladies, in your thigh pocket of your yoga pants or exercise pants, and whatever you want to call them. But even then, it's a ballpark figure rather than a precise count. And I have found that sometimes if I really want to count my steps for a week, because I can get in, say, 20, 25, sometimes even 30 miles a week, is that if I say Map My Walk, and that's free from Under Armour, you don't have to pay for it. They have some add-ons, but you don't need that. They have Map My Run, Map My Bike Ride, whatever it is, but Map My Walk, that's the one that I've been using. I think it's just a little bit more accurate than the Apple Health app. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we have a great tip about how you can tell who's calling you when you don't recognize the number. You're going to love this. And then later on, the best way to run a free background check on yourself or someone who you just met. And let's go back to all your great phone calls. How about Randall in New Bern, North Carolina? You're up next.
Hi, I have, I'm a artist by hobby, but have turned it into a little bit of a business. I create images, and I sell them on shirts.
Awesome.
And I use Zazzle, where I can create my own store, and I use Facebook primarily to promote my content. But what I found is, I don't know if it's people or it's bots, but somehow my art is showing up for sale, not from me.
Okay, at another website.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like 4 different sites that actually they posted on Facebook somewhere where I can see it. Usually it's a group, like for a high school reunion or some other activity group, a pickleball group. They take my images and they offer them for sale in a group that I'm part of. And
That's nice.
It even has my initials on it.
Isn't that nice?
Yes.
It's like, boy, the gall, right?
Yes.
It's just, there's no scruples, not even in pickleball art. Okay, so, all right, a couple of things you can do is typically if this T-shirt is being sold someplace else, is that there may be, you can do a who is. And have you done a who is search?
I have not.
Okay. So if you do a who is search, and it's like whois.net, and you type in a website, it'll tell you who owns the website. Mm-hmm. And in there, you'll find a contact name and an email address and a phone number, 9 times out of 10. And that may be where you do a cease and desist. Now, with your artwork, though, what I'd like you to do is to start watermarking the art that you display online. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in faint white letters someplace, copyright, Great Randall in New Bern, or however you want to do your copyright. You're an artist. Okay.
I gotcha.
Okay. So we're going to put a watermark on there somewhere with a copyright symbol saying it's mine. Because next time somebody uses it, you can say, hey, you didn't notice this, but there's a watermark there. And you're stealing my art. Now, anytime you have something copyright, trademark, that's when websites pay attention. Because then they know, oh, gosh, there's going to be a legal coming soon unless I shape up. And they don't want that. It's better for them to go find somebody who doesn't have a copyright notice. Okay. Make sure that you screenshot, you document everything. It's very, very important that you have evidence. Now, copywriting and watermarking is not going to prevent somebody from stealing it. It's just going to be easier for you to enforce it. And on Facebook, they do have a mechanism to report copyright infringement. Okay, and so that's where you can say, I have a copyright notice on it. And then you may have to get a formal cease and desist. But typically, before you do that, because of what's called the DMCA, it's called the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, you can request any online platform to remove content that infringes upon your copyright. And what you do is you can Google this, a DMCA takedown notice. Okay, and you can do this yourself. You don't need an attorney. DMCA takedown notice. So, and you start using that phrase that because of the DMCA, I'm asking that you remove content that's infringing upon my copyrights. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not an attorney. I can't give you legal advice, but I've done this with success. And the other thing that you want to do is if there's anything that you can trademark, even if you just have to register a trademark, is that's also because you're going to get a trademark number. That also helps when people start stealing your crap online.
And where do you do that?
Yeah, you're going to need a trademark attorney for that. Okay. You can do it yourself through the trademark office. But insider secret, the reason why on the bottom of every web page at commando.com, it has all my copyright notices and all my trademark numbers is just so what we're talking about. So if somebody tries to steal my stuff, I have it right there on the homepage. I'm going to go after you. And I got the trademark numbers, and the internet, believe it or not, as wild as it is, when it comes to infringing on trademarks and copyrights, that's when they go, oh, wait, this is bad. We can't allow this to happen. I mean, what are we doing here? Why would we let anybody infringe on that? So bottom line there is that's where that kind of happens. So try all this, and if it doesn't work, you may have to actually consult with an attorney. But I bet you with those tips, I think you're going to be okay. And thanks for your call. So annoying when stuff like this happens, isn't it? It's just like this whole time suck. Ugh. All right. Have you received a phone call or a text message from a number that you just don't recognize? Okay. Instead of replying, who is this? Okay. This is a hack that you're going to want to use time and time again. TikToker Liz Perez actually put it on her channel, just totally blew up on social. If you get a text from an unknown number, mobile payment apps like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, they can actually help you put a name to that phone number. What you do is you copy and paste that phone number right into one of those apps, and the mystery sender's name just might be unveiled. Now, I tested this out on a number that I knew someone had Venmo, and their name just popped right up. Now, this hack only works if you have an account with one of those mobile payment apps. And here's the other gotcha. The sender has to use their real name and their real phone number in the app, and most people do, though. But hey, it's better than just shooting in the dark, right, or going to Google. Now, what's the flip side? Well, your privacy. Be sure that you disable in whatever mobile payment app that you're using. You don't want them to share your name and phone number with other people. Now, of course, the steps will vary from app to app, but in Venmo, you're going to open settings and then go to friends and social and then toggle off phone contacts. Now, what about blocked numbers? Because you have, *67. That conceals your number from someone who you call. And there are similar numbers. But what about *69? That traces the number of the last person who called you. It works even for anonymous or hidden calls, so you can get the phone number and the exact time that they called. And then once you have that number, you can block it on your phone so, they don't call you anymore. So again, that's *69 will trace the number of the last person who called you. Now, if you're saying, oh my gosh, Kim Komando, this is so great, I want to learn more about this, well, just hit the website. That's komando.com with a K, of course.
Get cash for clothes at Plato's Closet in North Charleston and West Ashley. It's so easy. Recycle, earn cash, repeat. We pay cash on the spot for your trendy, gently used clothing, shoes, and accessories. At Plato's Closet, we buy all seasons, all day, every day. It's time to clean out your closet and cash in. Bring in your denim, graphic tees, athletic wear, shoes, handbags, and more. Sell your styles to Plato's Closet for cash. Then, do it again. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
All right, let's see who's up next. Steve in San Antonio, Texas.
Now, the problem I have is I'm elderly, and I have acquired many, many, many pictures all the way back to Vietnam. And I have slides and pictures, and my wife's older sister just died, and so we ended up with all of her family pictures. And I'm wondering if there's a simple, easy way to get them into my Mac digitally.
I'm going to tell you about the easiest way to do this. The easiest and simplest way is the way that I did it, okay, is you put them all in a box, okay, your slides, your photos, okay,
I know.
And you mail them off. And then, in 10 days, they were like, look, we have all your pictures and your slides. I'm
also on a limited budget. I was hoping there would be like something a way I could take like a bunch of prints and lay them out on the floor and take a picture with my iPhone and then bring them into and I have a lot of storage in I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive and a 1 terabyte internal.
Yeah, you know what? I under full disclosure, Steve, I have to tell you that I did not pay for that service because they wanted me to try. They wanted me to try it. Okay, they wanted me to try it, and I was like, "This is sweet. This is great." And there are companies, in case you are interested. That was actually done by iMemories, who provided that for me for free. But there's also Legacy Box, and there's, a few other services out there like Scan Cafe. Okay, let's talk about all the photos. Okay, you have a lot of photos, I can tell, and thank you for your service, by the way. Now, the deal is you can use your phone in order to take photos. There's an app from Google called PhotoScan, and it does just what you're talking about. It will take pictures of pictures, and what's really great is that it can take pictures of pictures even when the pictures are in a photo album. So, and even if they're in a frame, so you're not sitting there trying to take that plastic off and not trying to rip that photo at the same time. You know what I'm talking about, okay?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you can use that. Now, if you find that this is getting a lot of work, you can actually use a scanner. I've done this with some of my mom's pics, is that with a nice flatbed scanner, or even the scanner if you have a 3-in-1, I know you have an Epson, is that you can put 4 or 5 pictures on there, and then it will scan 4 pictures at once, and then you can just cut each one. But by the time you do the 4 pictures on the scanner, quite frankly, it takes as much time as if you just took a picture of a picture, right?
Right.
So now with organizing, since you're on Apple Photos is really wonderful to organize, edit, and it will sync all the pictures across your devices. And then you want to think of organization, Steve, as far as the event in the year. And so this way you can start having folders for different things. And it's a lot of work, but it's actually a lot of fun work, because once you get it in there, it's kind of a neat thing to share out these photos, and you can make slideshows, and you can have people, comment on them, and they're going to want copies of things, and you can put it in a YouTube video on a private channel.
The thing is, I have a couple of nieces and nephews that, they don't really see the value in paper copies anymore. So I was trying to get up to date. And so I thought the digital goddess would be able to tell me, well, if you get this program, zoom, bam, and it'll be done.
Well, it's not going to be zoom, bam, but it'll be chugga, 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 zoom, bam. Okay, this is a big process.
How do you have any kind of a guesstimate what maybe 5,000 pictures or 6,000 pictures might cost at Legacy Box?
I don't have those numbers off the top, but I will tell you it's probably going to be. I'm just guessing from the hip right now. 5,000, maybe between, I want to say $650 and $900, $1,000, depending upon, what kind of quality, how much time they have to take. And I mean, I did videos and slides and photos. And again, full disclosure, I didn't pay because they wanted me to try the service. And I think my bill was going to be closer to $1,600. So a lot of it just depends upon, your quantity, where you're going to have it. But if this is something that you want to do, try taking photos using that Google app called PhotoScan. It's absolutely free. I'm telling you, it works fabulously. Again, PhotoScan, you can find it in the Apple App Store or Google Play. And again, it's going to really just do a great job. Hey, Steve, thank you so much for your call today. Photos, it's always a big project. I mean, let's talk about JPEGs. The average one is about maybe 12 megapixels, so it's about 3 megabytes. So if you're looking at, let's say, a 1 gig drive, you can put 340 photos on that. RAW, wow, those are big files. 40 photos. TIFF, 25 photos. If you're saving all these photos and you want to conserve space, always remember JPEG is your friend. Now, one of the worst things you can do is head over to one of those paid people search sites and then just get suckered into some exorbitant monthly fee. So before you do that and you want to check somebody out, what I want you to do is go to Google, okay, and just type in the first and last name in quotes and see what pops up. And people are usually interested in the organizations that they're affiliated with. So you may see that as well as their social media profiles, any photos of them that might be just floating around the web. Now, what about their credit score? You can get a free credit report from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion once a year. Now, many credit cards and identity theft services offer free credit scores too, but you can only get them on yourself, okay? That's it. And it's a good idea for you to do that, so this way you know what's going on with your credit. Now, have you heard about those websites that will help you build your family tree? Now, they can be really fun and informative, but one in particular just has a lot of, shocking information. It may have your name, your age, all the addresses where you lived. And here, I want you to look yourself up at familytreenow.com and prepared to be shocked, because what you're going to see is your name, your wife, your husband, your partner, the kids, all their ages. Any place where you've lived, all your addresses, if you still have a landline, that number might be there. Your cell phone number, it might be listed there too. Again, that's familytreenow.com. And afterwards, you're going to want to opt yourself out so all that information is not available to anybody on the internet. We have the steps on how to opt out of Family Tree Now over at commando.com. Hey, thanks for being here. So appreciate that. Tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show because after all, knowledge is power.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Get cash for clothes at Plato's Closet in North Charleston and West Ashley. It's so easy. Recycle, earn cash, repeat. We pay cash on the spot for your trendy, gently used clothing, shoes, and accessories. At Plato's Closet, we buy all seasons, all day, every day. It's time to clean out your closet and cash in. Bring in your denim, graphic tees, athletic wear, shoes, handbags, and more. Sell your styles to Plato's Closet for cash. Then, do it again. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.